Then the quad lutz, and then another triple axel.
Okay then.
Coming back from the top is never a walk in the park. We've all seen it. Even the biggest names, like Tom Brady and Michael Phelps, had to fight tooth and nail to get back to where they were. But some sports, like figure skating, are all about physical peak performance. That makes a comeback even harder. But Alysa Liu, she's got her sights set on the top and she's not backing down.
I didn't have any feelings that I wanted to go back for like that entire break. I wasn't even thinking about it, but I went skiing for the first time, and the adrenaline rush that I got from it,
And speaking of comebacks, Alysa Liu's journey has to be one of the most unexpected in recent years. Can you imagine? Just a few years ago, she was dominating the ice on the world stage, and later, she didn't even know where her skates were. When she announced her retirement in 2022 at just 16, it was a total shock. By that point, she'd already claimed 2 US titles, a bronze at Worlds. And let's not forget, she was the first US woman to land a quad in competition. Then, it was like she disappeared overnight.
Finally, a shocker from American figure skater Alysa Liu, who announced her retirement at the age of 16 years old.
So, why did she retire? Well, after the 2022 Olympics, Alysa realized she'd accomplished everything she wanted to in skating. She was burned out and just wanted to experience normal life. Go to school, make friends, and do all the regular teenage stuff she had missed out on after being homeschooled for so long. She wanted to live a little. After her final ice show, Alysa hung up her skates for good, or so she thought. She started living the teenage life she'd always wanted, spending time with family and friends, going to college, and even trying new things like skiing, volleyball, and basketball. She also got into fashion and photography. It was like she had a whole new life. But here's the twist. It was actually her skiing trip that made her miss skating. She hadn't felt that same rush of adrenaline since she quit. So she decided to give skating another shot just to see how it felt. And guess what? She tried a double axel and nailed it. That's when she started thinking, maybe I'm ready for more.
and I didn't realize I missed it until like I felt it again. And so I was like, oh, maybe like I'll get back on the ice and just like try it again just for fun. And that's like how
Alysa began going back to the rink to practice. But because she was busy with school and everything else, she could only skate for about an hour at a time, every couple of weeks. It was like, what can you even do in an hour? But she kept going back, seeing how much she could remember and improve. After a few months of this, Alysa realized she still had her jumps. She started thinking, maybe I can do both, school and skating. It was a big decision, but she felt up for the challenge. So she called up her coach and they began training again over the summer. Of course, coming back after a year and a half wasn't easy. She even lost her skates at one point, but once she found them, her skills came back quickly, though stamina was a bit tougher. She's working on that now, and it's great to see her back on the ice and reconnecting with her skating friends. Alysa just turned 19, and she's loving adulthood. She's in control of her schedule now, driving herself to the rink, picking her lesson times, even deciding what to wear. It's super liberating for her. And now that she's older, she realizes she can't ignore her love for skating anymore, and she's got some big plans for her comeback.
I'm back. It's like, I think I'm back because I got that break, so I think it was like needed.
But here's the twist. This time, skating is personal for Alysa. In a recent interview with Olympics.com, she shared some exciting plans for her return. It turns out retirement didn't stick. Now that she's back, Liu feels like she's finally in control. Just 2 years ago, she never would have imagined this. But now, she genuinely loves skating and gets to explore it on her own terms. She's picking her own music, designing her costumes, and even styling her hair. It's all about her vision now, and she's thrilled to bring all those artistic touches to life. After finishing 6th at the 2022 Winter Games in Beijing, Liu realized she had more to achieve. Now that she's older, she's taking charge of her career and focusing on the 2026 Winter Games in Milan Cortina. She's determined to make a strong comeback and is working hard to get back in top physical shape. The Olympics can be tough for young athletes, and everyone will be watching to see if Liu can prove herself once again.
The way I think about it and the way I do skate, it's so different. And honestly, I do think if an athlete can do it, they should step away for a bit, take some time off, probably.
But Alysa's story is part of a larger trend we've seen with some of the greatest athletes in history. Taking time away can actually be a game changer. Just think about Michael Phelps. He's the most decorated Olympian ever, yet he retired after the 2012 Olympics. When he came back, he said he was glad he had the chance to choose when to step away. Then there's Magic Johnson. He retired from the NBA after being diagnosed with HIV. He did come back briefly to coach the Lakers and even played again for a bit. And let's not forget Michael Jordan, who retired at just 30 because he wasn't feeling motivated anymore. Everyone was shocked. But 2 years later, he came back, famously announcing, "I'm back," which has become a symbol of comebacks. So the big question is, can Liu pull off a similar comeback?
US figure skater Alysa Liu, a member of the 2022 Olympic team, is making a comeback after nearly 2 years in retirement.
Well, while those legendary comebacks set a high bar, Alysa Liu is already making waves in her return. After more than 2 years away from international competition, she's back, and making a huge statement. Just last weekend in Budapest, she delivered a performance in a major skating competition that reminded everyone Now, she's got big plans for the 2024-25 season. She's all in, with her sights set on the 2026 Olympics in Milano Cortina. First up is Skate Canada on October 25th. 27, her first Grand Prix in 3 years, and then it's off to the NHK Trophy in Tokyo.
Yeah, just thinking about it makes me very excited.
But skating isn't the only thing Alysa's taking control of these days. Off the ice, she's embracing her newfound independence in more ways than one. In a recent chat with Olympics.com, she couldn't hide her excitement over a fun milestone. "No one's driving me to the rink anymore." It's not just about getting behind the wheel of a car. It's her way of showing how much she's grown up. She's moved from being in the back seat to taking full control of her life. Now, with her crazy schedule at UCLA, juggling training, competitions, and classes, you might think she'd be feeling the pressure. But nope. Alysa sees it as an adventure, not something to stress about. That time she took off from skating, it wasn't just a break, it was a chance to reset and come back stronger. She knows getting back to the top will be tough, but she's all in, ready for whatever comes next. Alysa's not just in charge on the ice, she's driving her life forward with confidence, taking everything in stride. And it's not just fans noticing Alysa's return. Ilya Malinin, the reigning world champ, had something to say about her comeback. He couldn't help but admire her skating when they were at a training camp together, expressing how amazed he was by her performance. But Ilya isn't the only one impressed by Alysa's journey. On her podcast, Alysa recently sat down with Caitlin Weaver, who is a well-known ice dancer and a huge advocate for athletes speaking up. Caitlin talked about how, as a competitive athlete, there's always this fear of falling behind, which is why some stay in the sport even when it's not the best choice for them. That's why it's so refreshing to hear Alysa talk about her experience. Caitlin also believes Alysa's story is really important for young women in skating. She's glad to see more female athletes putting their health and well-being first. A comeback story like Alysa's is exactly what the sport needs right now. And just like the world of sports needs a comeback story like Alysa's, we need you to show some love for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more content like this.